Listen, alcohol is just out in 2024. There is a rising trend of going alcohol-free or being sober curious, and alcohol, the truth is, it's just bad for you and can famously impair your sex life. So if you're looking for another way to unwind, relax, or just have fun, I cannot recommend Via's THC gummies enough. Via has gummies for every occasion. Whether it's to improve your sleep, I love their sleep gummies. I take them everywhere. Your mood or your focus. They even have an aphrodisiac gummy called High Love to boost my arousal levels. High Love has a unique blend of cannabinoids and aphrodisiac exotic herbs that are known for their libido enhancing effects. So I've been using Via for a while now, and I absolutely love them. They're a super trusted company. They use premium hemp, natural ingredients, and they're known for their premium indoor THCA flower. All their products are made here in the US. They got quick and discreet shipping to all 50 states, so you can all enjoy them, not to worry. And also super affordable. So head over to viahemp.com and use code Emily at checkout to save 15% off your order. That's VIIAHEMP.com. Use code Emily at checkout for 15% off your order and let me know what you think. Hey everyone, thanks for listening to Sex with Emily. I am so excited to tell you about my new favorite obsession, and it is going to rock your world. At least it did mine, because let me tell you a story. So I just went on vacation with my family, and I get so many magazines. I have all these subscriptions, and I want to read them. I don't have a lot of time to read. So I was meeting my family. We all went to Israel, and I brought like 20 magazines on the plane, and it was so heavy. I was carrying them around everywhere I went. And my mom was like, "You're crazy. Like, why are you doing this?" I'm like, "Cause we're on vacation, summer. It's all about like reading magazines and stuff." Well, I have to tell you about the greatest service ever that I just heard of. Next Issue, okay? Nextissue.com. They make it so friggin' easy because they deliver all the best publications right to your fingertips. So the deal is, it gives you access to the most popular and trusted magazines. So like any magazine that you like or that you want to read, or maybe you don't want to pay the money for a subscription, which I actually totally get that, because I feel guilt every month. I'm like, God, I didn't get to that yet. So that's why I'm sort of a magazine hoarder, which is a problem that I can talk about another time. But your favorite magazines can be enjoyed in the moment or downloaded to be read offline later. So anything you want, you check out their entire catalog. You can find exercise tips, trip ideas, top stories. I mean, think about it. If you're into sports, ESPN, Sports Illustrated, into fashion, they've got Allure, Vogue, Elle, Cosmo, 19 others. And if you're in entertainment, People, Rolling Stone, Us Weekly. I'm like getting excited actually just reading, like telling you these names, because this is what my house, I'll have like room for more clothes. Okay, so Next Issue is also an incredible value, because one subscription gets you so many magazines for as little as $10 a month. And you can use that on up to 5 devices. So for example, when you're on vacation or you're just with a friend, you can be like, "Can I read that People when you're done with it?" You can both be reading it at the same time. This is brilliant. And as a special deal for Sex with Emily listeners, you get your free 30-day trial at nextissue.com/EM. That's nextissue.com/EM, as in Emily, so M as in Mary, and read up. I mean, just check it out, because you're going to be obsessed. It's all going to be on your smartphone or your iPad, and you don't have to deal with magazines. You can pick and choose and just read about everything that you want and love in your life. So check it out, nextissue.com/EM. Thanks for listening.
Look into his eyes. They're the eyes of a man obsessed by sex. Eyes that mock our sacred institutions. Bedroom eyes, they call them in a bygone day.
Hey, Emily, you got a boyfriend? Because my man E here, he just got his heart broken. He thinks you're kind of cute.
A girl's gotta have her standards. Oh, my.
Do women know about shrinkage?
Isn't it common knowledge?
What do you mean, like laundry? It shrinks?
Can we not talk about sex so much?
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God, it feels so good.
Being bad feels pretty good. But Emily's not the kind of girl you just play with.
To Sex with Emily. We're talking about sex, relationships, and everything in between. For more information, go to sexwithemily.com, where you can check out all of our podcasts, sign up for a mailing list. You really, really should, because we send an awesome newsletter. I give you an email, I gotta say. And follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. It's all Sex with Emily, and I love you all. Thank you for listening. And today's show, this is a really special show, not just because Menace is here.
Hello, everybody.
What up, Menace? We've got a little panel going on here.
I know.
Which we're going to introduce in a second, but we have to catch
Like
up.
1 billion people up in the studio. You
I
can't
know.
hear them now, but
We
in a
haven't
bit.
done this before. Well,
So many voices.
We are tackling a very important topic today.
Okay.
We're talking about casual sex, which is on the rise. And
On the
it's-
rise?
Well, I mean,
Well, probably thanks
in the
to
last
Tinder and
20
stuff
years,
like that,
thanks
yeah.
to Tinder, I've got this amazing article that I'm going to read news about Tinder, which is just literally changing. Not only is there a rise in people hooking up, but also a rise in STDs. Imagine that. But also connections. The whole thing about Tinder is that it's just changed the way people are meeting, dating. They're saying it's curing loneliness. Have you been? You've had a girlfriend since Tinder.
Yeah, so I
You'd
mean,
be killing it on Tinder, dude, if you didn't have a girlfriend.
I signed up all my buddies that are not on Tinder and then help them like make their profiles and stuff like that, and then sit and watch them, like see if anybody
Did it work?
likes them back, and it totally works. Like within 5 minutes of setting up a profile, they were already talking to somebody.
Yeah,
It was insane.
It's insane.
But you were talking about STDs. I was just.
That's the depressing part, guys. I don't want to
Yeah.
lead with the STD part. I'm glad people
But
are hooking
I
up.
was checking
God,
out
it's so
this
depressing.
article, and they said just in like New Jersey that STDs are on the rise, like a crazy number, and they all blame Tinder.
Yeah, exactly.
But I blame it's a small population, and probably few people are on Tinder using it, and they're all hooking up with the same people.
Just because everyone's hooking up. And the interesting thing is, and they say here, okay, so according to a 2002 U.S. General Survey, social survey, there's been an increase both casual sex and sex with acquaintances since the 90s. So from 1990 to now to 2012, casual sex. So in the 90s, it was 32% people were having casual sex, 37% now. Friends with benefits, 30% then, 41% now.
I think also all the surveys back then. I think people were lying.
No, but
they
can I-
weren't gonna
you
be
always
honest.
think people are lying.
because I think people were probably a lot more uptight back then and didn't want to say like they want to be considered
It just,
floozy.
you know what? I don't know if it was even that uptight. You weren't oriented that way. Like I know in college, it was like you slept with someone and you got. I think actually, to be honest, like in my 20s, I was in relationships. Like I was a serial monogamist, believe it or not. I did cheat, you know that. I'm a former cheater. But I was committed 2.5 years, and it wasn't like casual sex. Yeah, it wasn't accepted. It wasn't like people would just go on a date and like, yeah, I'm dating 5 guys. You just wouldn't say it. And now it's like, if someone's in a relationship at 24, you're like, really? And part of me think that I don't think you should get married until you're 30 anyway. I believe that. I think we change a lot in our 20s. I think that it's not a bad thing to date around and figure out who you are and what you want. So I kind of wish I could. Well, I guess I am doing it over. My friends all say I'm like 20 now.
We'll talk about it more with our panel of people.
So how have you been?
I've been great. I'm very upset with you, by the way, though.
Why?
You haven't posted photos of my dog yet on your Instagram, and I sent them over to your staff. But whatever.
Dude, okay.
Okay, it's cool. You hate my dog. It's fine. Whatever.
I'm so first of all, you are the most private person in the whole world that I feel like I'd have to get like a release form signed to
No
a picture of
way.
your dog on Instagram. But your dog is really, really friggin' cute. I'll do
you.
it. We'll do it. Madison will probably do it right now as we're
All right,
talking.
sweet.
But congratulations on that. It's like your
Thank
first
you.
child.
So
So
it's
now does
very-
that mean you guys are gonna have a baby soon? Because that's what couples
No.
do. Yes, you get a
No
dog and then you get a
way.
baby. Yeah,
Hell
dude,
no.
it happens.
No, we already have a bunch of vacations coming up, and we already have dog sitters and stuff like that.
That doesn't mean that you can't have a child.
We're very anti-child.
You just
So.
okay, so maybe you'll just have a dog and be one of those people that like dresses it up and like, it's
Yeah,
our
we already-
baby,
we
and like
already
you send
bought
out
it.
Christmas cards with
We already
pictures.
bought
of
it outfits and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my god,
so.
you used to laugh at me when my dog had outfits.
No, I laughed at you because you should not have a dog
Well, you were right.
at all.
You were right.
You can barely take care of yourself.
Exactly.
Why are you gonna have a dog?
Well, because it was a mistake. My friend, she's a vet.
How long did the dog last? You
2
had a
years.
good. Yeah, good.
No, we had a good run. I mean,
Yeah, it
she's
was a
with a
good run.
wonderful family right now. There's a lot going on in my life.
That dog, by the way, farted on me, and I'm still offended by it.
I used to bring her to the studio. It was very cute.
Yeah.
But speaking of Instagram menace, so I did a big a workshop last night at Hustler Hollywood, which was friggin' amazing. It was oral sex workshop, oral sex 101. And it was for men and for women. So I taught about fellatio and cunnilingus, which I don't want to embarrass you, but I'm going to. But in 2005, when we started the show, we were on a live show. We were on Free FM radio. and I said cunnilingus, and you did not know what it was.
Well, you were ahead of your time on the
No, you think I made up cunnilingus?
slang term. You were.
You think I made it up? You think I just came in that day?
You were a pioneer.
I'm like
of
Kinsey.
The term
I'm like Kinsey.
Cunnilingus.
But so last night it was a packed room. I mean, there were so many fans there because I don't do a lot of live things. And this one woman, McKenna, right? Madison McKenna. She's an awesome fan. She's been a fan for a long time of the show. She's like, I just need to know what men. He's so cute. Like you hadn't posted enough pictures of him, and then I saw him, and he's really, really cute. And like, why don't you post a lot of pictures of him? So I'll post a picture of you and your dog for McKenna. And thank you.
No, just post a picture of the dog. You know I hate taking photos.
People don't see you.
I know. Keep it that way.
Okay, so I think we should. Well, I've got a little to introduce this topic. I am going to read a little sex of the news, and then I'm going to get into our people here.
Okay, cool. Because they're all staring at us right now while we talk.
I love them. I'm so glad they're here. This is going to be fun. Okay, this is important. An unfathomable amount of people are getting laid from Tinder, according to these stats. So, speaking at the Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity, the co-founder of Tinder, Sean Rad, claimed that in the 2.5 years Tinder has existed, they've already facilitated over 8 billion matches.
Jeez.
2 billion in just the past 2 months. So Tinder is now up to 16,000 swipes per second, which means a truly unfathomable amount of people are getting laid via Tinder these days. By the way, this is an interesting fact. It's the same co-founder who was ousted as CEO by Barry Diller, CEO of IAC, parent group of Tinder, after Sean Rad was caught drawing Diller's initials in the shape of a cock and balls. Do you remember this story?
Come on.
No, really. Sean Rad still remains president of Tinder and a director within the company. He sounds like a good, fun guy, okay?
Yeah.
Right? Anyone who comes up with Tinder.
So uptight.
As of April, right, what the hell? As of April, Tinder has a total of 6 billion matches, according to its downloaded page in iTunes, which translates to 195 million matches per month, insisting that one of the missions of Tinder was not about seeking sexual partners, but to cure human loneliness. He said, the people that you really...
Right. That's always the cover-up.
Well,
For
it's
every
kinda true,
hookup app
though.
out there. Oh, we just want you to meet
Well,
people.
I mean, if you're lonely, you want to have sex or eat
I
a pint
get
of Ben
it.
and Jerry's,
I
or both at
understand.
the same time. I don't know. The people that you meet really shape who you are. Every person you meet has the potential to change your life. We all have this sense of belonging, community to get close to the world, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But now everyone's hooking up, so that's the point. And curing loneliness, perhaps. As a company to operate that kind of scale is fascinating because he's very proud of all these numbers, as you can imagine, when your audience is so global and diverse. The average user spends 11 minutes a day on Tinder. And with 16,000 swipes a second, 1.4 billion swipes a day, and 2 billion matches in the last 2 months, he finds it outrageous. Tinder is currently valued at the 5 billion range. It's not just a hookup app.
It's
okay.
crazy.
So let's introduce our panel, and I'm going to talk about
Wait, can I say something real quick? I'm sorry, guys.
Please
to keep
do.
you waiting. But this came out actually a couple of hours ago in the news that these teens overseas, they came in Britain, they came up with a condom that changes color and it can detect STDs.
No way.
And like for each STD, it's a different color. So
Are you serious? Is it glow in the dark? It'd be better if they were glow in the dark colors.
Glow in the dark, but I don't think that's the main point of it.
Well, all I'm thinking is if you're having sex with someone and you're like, it's green, you won't really see if the lights are out. You're like, you have chlamydia.
Yeah.
So it should just be a glow in the dark. I mean, I don't mean to, but it's a great idea. Sorry, man.
These teens who manage to figure out how to figure out if you have an STD and say, look, this thing sucks because it doesn't glow in the dark.
I'm like the investor in the room going, really? That's a good idea, but no, that's a great idea, actually.
Yeah,
that is brilliant.
pretty insane. So
but I wonder how it works. Like, because sometimes doctors can't even detect if you have if you have herpes.
Yeah,
it
but
doesn't
you know
show
what?
up.
It's better than nothing.
It's brilliant. No, I think that's actually brilliant. I'd like to invest in the company and then make it glow in the dark.
13-year-old are going to be billionaires, and I would like to go on the condom private jet soon once they get
That is really, really
get
smart.
their money.
Because you know what? The thing is, people lie. Oh, no, I'm totally good. I got tested last
Yeah,
week.
we're like,
How the hell
no,
do
your
you know?
condom turned green, you have syphilis.
Yeah, you're like, syphilis, I'm out. See ya, like.
You're lying
really.
bastard.
That is really great. And another news story that came out, which isn't on here, which I just think is funny. I'm going to do this real quick. Did you hear that the founder of Match.com, who met his partner on Match.com, she cheated on him and left him for a guy that she met on Match.com?
I did know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that's sort of sad.
Her name was Emily Morris.
Dude.
Just kidding.
I don't cheat anymore.
Anyways, let's introduce
I gave
our
that
panel.
up. Okay, guys. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for being here. Okay, to my left. First, I'm going to start with, so we've got Because I figured we got to have a dialogue of people actually engaging in casual sex or have, flirted with it. So let's talk about it. We've got Justin Gunn. Justin.
Hello.
Say hello.
That's hell of a
Hello.
name, Justin Gunn.
Yeah.
It's quite a name. I know.
pretty badass last
Justin,
name.
I know from San Francisco. He used to work at Current TV.
Oh, sweet.
And we met 10 years ago.
10 years
We
ago.
actually dated.
We did.
Oh, no.
Was it casual, though? We were...
I would say it was casual, but then it was. I mean, how do I know if it was exclusive?
I'm trying to think if I slept with anyone else. I don't think
You never know.
Maybe. I don't...
You know what? I think we were casual flirting with seriousness.
Right.
I think that's what we did.
Right. And it was a good time. And then we hadn't seen each other in 10 years.
It was probably like the better part of a year. That
Yeah.
We probably hung out.
That was a really good year.
Yeah, it was a great year.
Yeah.
No commitment, though.
We went to Coachella together. Remember that?
Oh, dude, he's the guy I had sex.
No, the Coachella. Dude, you're infamous.
Oh my God, Justin.
You're a Coachella guy?
Yeah.
What can of worms did I just
God.
open?
I've
People.
told the story how we had sex
Oh, for like 10
backstage.
years.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I've told the story. What
The
do you
guy's here, everybody. You've been hearing about.
It doesn't get much more casual than that.
Yeah.
Because typically at Coachella you're in shorts and like sundresses.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, we were, but then we had sex backstage. But do you remember where or who was playing or anything?
It wasn't in the butt, was it?
No.
It was probably
You mean
Wilco. She, like,
geographically
We never did that.
where?
Things like that.
Geographically
Yeah,
where?
geographically
Yeah,
where.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So that's kind of a big deal because I've talked about that. That was a big
Okay.
moment in my life.
And
So-
every year Coachella comes up because I have to go to Coachella for work, and I go, I'm going to Coachella. She's like, I had sex backstage.
I
Wow.
know he brings it up to. Yeah, that was fun.
I
That
bring
was
it up.
fun. Thank you for reminding me of that.
So anyway, Justin and I haven't seen each other in a while, and I ran into you in LA, and
Yes.
we're both here now. So that's
Yes,
awesome.
It's wonderful.
It's
great- great to see you again,
Great
by
to
the
see you
way.
too, and thanks for coming on the show, Jordan.
Hey, how's it
I
going?
just met Jordan. Jordan, you are. Oh, and Justin's 41.
Yes.
You're 25.
25, correct.
And you live in LA.
Yes.
And are you're casually dating now?
Only casually dating.
Okay.
No
How are you meeting people?
variety of ways. I kind of go off and on each month. Sometimes it's the apps, sometimes it's the bar scene. But
Craigslist.
Craigslist is very shady. And
Right. Craigslist is how it started, right?
yeah, just don't meet in those random Starbucks because they're
AOL
like
chat
next
rooms.
door. Yeah.
So you use all the apps, everything.
Yes, I don't date like long term. It's just always short term or friends with benefits.
Do you ever want that, or you just
No.
Never? You've
Nope.
never had it?
I don't like caring about myself on a daily basis. I don't have time to care about someone else.
That's how I felt about a dog. I totally get it.
So I'm selflessly selfish in that
And do you
sense.
tell the girls that right away?
Yeah, straight
You're
up.
like, hey, so nice to meet you. You want to drink? You want to drink beer? Okay, so listen, this is just casual.
Yeah, 100%.
And then do you find that they're kind of turned out, like they're like, me too?
It's a variety.
You've probably had a variety of things
Yeah,
happen.
it's a lot of different angles, but
Okay.
usually it works out.
Okay,
It's
wait,
just tough to
that's-
find them.
Tough to find them?
Yeah, I mean, like in a bar, if you go up to 5 girls, let's say, one's like, oh, you're an asshole. 2 is like, oh, that's really douchey to say. And then the 3 is like, oh, I can kind of see that, like maybe in a little bit.
Right, and then you
They
call
keep
Uber.
moving down. Yeah, I'm just like, no, okay, you're
Back to
done.
my
Then
house,
move
right.
down the line, and then eventually it's like, oh, I'm just here to have fun tonight. Boom, thank you. Let's
Okay,
go.
I'm in. Okay, wait, I got to go back to Justin for 1 second because I didn't ask you about this part.
Yeah.
So you are dating.
No, I'm not. I actually.
In the past, you have.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Just finish. Keep going.
No, it's interesting because I came out of a relationship about 3 months ago, and it was a full solid year of exclusivity. And prior to that, this was someone that was in my life, also named Emily, by the way.
You should have just known then to run. Okay.
But prior to that, we'd been in each other's lives for many years. We were together for a couple years, then we were not together, kind of off and on. So I'm actually kind of fresh back on the scene, and all of these things, these technologies, all of this stuff is actually pretty new.
Okay. So, but you in the past, though, let's say before that, I feel like when I met you, you were kind of like a stud. Doing things. No?
What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
No, you have that like fancy loft. I walked in. There's like porn. My friend, she's like Justin, that guy you walked in, and there was like porn on the TV. You were having a party, and there was like porn on the TV. Like walked in, I'm like, hey, like you were like the party guy. But we'll get into that. Okay.
Yeah.
So next we have Tara.
Hi.
Hi, Tara. Tara's actually my new assistant as well, and she is. You've flirted with casual sex and dating.
I've had casual sex. Not recently.
Right.
But,
But in the past, you've
Yeah.
dated casually. And what about earlier on? Like, were you in a committed relationship? Like, you're 41 today. Happy birthday. Woo. We have cupcakes here.
there are cupcakes here. Thank
previously, you have been casual. Were you casual? Were you committed? Were you...
you. Yeah, I'd say the first better half of my 20s was I didn't really. I don't know. I'm definitely the opposite of you, Don. Not a serial monogamist. Not back then. So yeah, good portions of my 20s and 30s were spent that way.
Casually. Okay, and then we have Lori.
Hi.
My fantabulous intern.
Hey.
Lori is 27. Tell me about what's up with you now? How many guys you banging?
I'm currently banging 0. Just recently I was banging 1 or 2, and then now I'm banging neither of them because they're huge assholes.
Really? Mm-hmm. What happened?
Just like, well...
She got to know them.
Exactly. No, like, I'm over it. It's fine.
Okay. But I remember there was one of them helped you test out the...
That is one of the huge assholes, yeah.
What was it? It was the Flex.
It was the Flex.
It was the Crave Flex vibrator.
You know, we'll probably still have sex in the
that's
future.
The thing.
But
so
that's my feeling about it right now.
He's an asshole, but then you all still have sex with him. Like, what's up with that? Why is he an asshole?
I don't know, because I can separate sex from how I feel about him.
You can separate sex from assholes.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, but I'd say like...
Going back to Justin's point. Okay.
I'd say historically, though, I'm about 50-50 with the relationship casual sex thing. Like, I've had several serious long-term relationships and then several years of just casual sex.
And are you okay with that, or is a part of you like, God, do you have that yearning, like, but I'd like to find one guy?
I straight up want to find one guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I hella go for the relationship, just it doesn't always happen that way, and I'm cool with it.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm total romantic. Really, I usually catch feelings.
Right.
Like, yeah,
I'm
one of those. Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. So that's one of the things I want to talk about. Menace, what about you? Before you had this girlfriend, which just ruined my life.
Oh, whatever.
Just kidding. Because he used to be more like fun, talking about hooking up. That's cool. I'm glad you're in a relationship and happy and have a dog. No, but whatever. You're just gonna you have nothing to say. You don't talk about.
What do you mean? No.
Well, but before this,
I think when it casual sex, I don't know how it is for women. I think probably a lot easier and quicker if they wanted to have casual sex, but guys are just lame and dumb and don't.
Pretty much the only thing that keeps heterosexual men from having sex all the time is women.
See, I don't know that.
Okay. No, also themselves, because they don't even pick up on like cues that a woman is actually interested in them because they're that dumb.
A lot of times men
like, maybe late 20s and then early 30s, that's when a lot of the casual sex started happening.
Yeah, no, it's true because this is
too afraid and shy and this girl's not into me and like questioning everything.
Right.
Not all people are the same, but at least that's what was happening for me.
Got it. Okay, so I have a little definition here if people are confused. What is casual sex? I'm going to define 3 different types of casual sex scenarios. It's a sexual activity between people who are not established sexual partners or do not know each other very well. A one-night stand, a sexual relationship lasting only one night. Imagine that. Friends with benefits. A friend in which you are allowed sexual activity, but no true relationship is involved. The benefit is purely sexual, not to be tied with feelings. And then there's the almost relationships or the almost boyfriend, which I talked about earlier with this year with Annie Daly. She writes for the New York Post, and she called me about it for a press story. And she's like, "Have you heard about this almost boyfriend thing?" I'm like, "Well, what's the difference?" And it's kind of like a friends with benefits, but you spend a lot of their time together and may or not be seeing other people, but they're fully committed. But it's not really an open relationship. They might meet your parents. I don't know. It's kind of I think people are just kind of trying to come up with new terms. But is it really that everyone's just looking for the bigger, better deal, you think? Or are people just really just interested in having sex right now, like more sex?
I want to have sex all the time. I feel like I have a really high sex drive.
Okay.
But I'm also like super commitment minded. So this is like my lifelong struggle because I always want to have sex, but to find a relationship takes time, and I cannot.
But if you're also sleeping with multiple people, doesn't it become kind of confusing? Right?
I feel like I do a lot of casual, but I do one at a time. I don't typically sleep with more than one person in succession. Like,
okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I go from one to the next to the next. Sometimes it's quick, but they don't really overlap.
Right.
Why do you don't think they work out?
Oh my God, Menace. I wish I knew. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it's me.
I don't know. Okay, here's the thing, you guys. The thing that I always think about casual sex and friends with benefits is that it has a shelf life. Like, it can't really go on forever.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. No, the same with the same person, because
No, it does.
usually ends up that one person wants more, and it's not only the chicks, Justin. Sometimes the guys want more than the woman does.
Sure,
right?
absolutely.
Because you were saying women. I know that you were kidding when you're saying, "Oh, guys would," but I think some of it's true that guys would just sleep around until women are like, "Hey."
Yeah, I mean, just generally speaking, I think there is sort of I think this issue divides along gender roles, pretty starkly. Where I think if you poll 100 guys and 100 women, I think you're going to find that typically more men will be pro casual sex than women will be, as far as like not having relationships, just kind of hooking up. It's very sort of male. Genetically, it's sort of a male-centric behavior. It's almost like the trend of casual sex is sort of validating like historical like evolutionary behavior ingrained in men.
Right, exactly.
Which is not to say that women can't enjoy it too, and clearly they do. You know what I suspect? I suspect that because I'm 41, and when I grew up, if you wanted to get a look at a porno movie or a naked picture, you had to, 12 years old, summon up the courage and go up to the newsstand and buy a porno mag.
Right.
Which I did.
I'm sure you did.
With my older brother hiding around the corner, peeking around, seeing what's going on.
Right.
But today, it's everywhere. The internet is awash in pornography, and you can see absolutely everything. And it's interesting because when I have dated below my age, with girls in their 20s, their attitudes towards sex and sexual freedom are so much different than girls, when I was that
That's
age.
what I'm saying. It's a totally different thing. So
It's
they
totally
really
different.
are more open to. They're like, hey, it's cool, whatever. Because, but what I wonder is,
it's not as secret. It's not as taboo. I mean, you look at an extreme example in Saudi Arabia where everybody's completely covered up in head to toe, and the guys are all freaking out, and people's relationships with sex is all whack and weird. Here, and increasingly with younger generations where it's open and it's available and it's everywhere, it's almost not such a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is what I wonder, because I do agree that men and women are both on board with it more in their 20s. Like, I know that when I was in my 20s, I wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm banging 5 guys right now, I'm doing this or that. Like, it would be like, I don't know, maybe we were, but we weren't talking about it. We were going towards relationships. But then I've also, read a lot of stories, books, but, women are kind of just falling out with men, but they aren't as comfortable with it, that it sort of feels like it's not natural. Mm-hmm. And then, but I think it also, I don't know, what do you guys think? Is it something that you felt like or is it more that you're okay with it until you have feelings and then you want more?
There's so many things. I mean, me growing up, it was the 90s when I was in my 20s. So yeah, like what you were saying, there was, even if you were juggling multiple men at once, it's not something you bragged about.
Or talked about.
Right, maybe guys did, but it's that whole stigma with being a woman. You're going to be looked down on, like, oh, that's the slutty one.
Right.
But hasn't that changed? I don't think it's changed.
I don't think it's changed as much as it should have.
Okay, let's ask Jordan here. He's 25. Jordan, what do you think? Are these girls what? Are they slutty? Or are they?
They do. It has changed. I get to the point usually, especially with a friends with benefit situation, where it does get to that feeling point, and so far it has not been from my side. It's normally them, and at that point, it's more of I kind of warned you in the beginning, like I wasn't looking for this, and it unfortunately does end. But occasionally, long term, I forgot who mentioned it, that you bring them back around later on. They're like, oh wow, what we had was kind of cool. I did the dating scene.
Do you bring them back?
No. They initiate the contact. Yeah, and I'm not gonna I know it's not great for their psychiatric area, but for me, it's like.
But I'm not paying the bills.
Yeah, for me, it's more like, hey, look, it's your choice. I already warned you. You definitely know what you're jumping in with. It's not me searching out for it.
So it's interesting because I wonder if women typically, and this goes both ways again, but women think, well, I can change them. I'll be the one, Jordan. You're going to be a challenge for me. Yeah, you say you don't want something committed, but you're going to fall in love with me. And you're like, no, that didn't happen.
They always think that. Too.
They do.
Part of the chase for them, absolutely.
Both ways.
Yeah, it does go both ways, but typically
I can fix him.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix him, and it almost is like,
her.
Yeah, well, that's kind of been.
Very PC today.
I know, it's so weird. Who are you? You got a dog, and now you're being
beat
PC.
Up by the PC police all
no,
week,
I get it. I am too, but I have to say that it's interesting, just because I typically was the one who didn't want. I would get into them, but I was like, the guy was saying to me, oh, do you want a relationship? And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I will, because you want it, but I don't. And then it's funny, because the more I would say, I'm really not looking for anything, they would want more.
Oh, that's so true.
And it's like
so
that whole
true.
thing in life, you want what you can't have. But I'm not like the typical normal female in that way, but do you find that as well? That,
yeah, absolutely.
That they're always that there are the women, it's like bait. It's like, what is it, catnip? You're
catnip,
the second you say, I don't want it, they're like,
I want more. Yeah. And it's tough to deflect, because, you kind of, they care about you. And it's, not the best thing to, ruin their feelings, but at the
What
same
happened in
time.
your childhood, though? Your parents married?
No, divorced.
Divorced.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't see like a model of a really great relationship.
I've seen
with them.
What age?
poor.
What age were you when they were divorced?
We're gonna have you lie down on the couch like an
Yeah, so
animal.
let's therapist this out.
And then you're
real
gonna have
quick.
sex with someone here. No.
Oh, it's fine. It's only like 15 years.
It's an
more.
interesting point. How old were you when your parents were
5.
divorced? 5. Yeah.
5. Okay, so
Yeah,
you.
my parents are happily married and have been my whole life. So I feel like I'm looking for that.
Okay,
That's
what-
my idea of it.
Right.
for
What about
sure.
you, Tara?
They divorced, but I was in my 20s. I was
Okay.
already living out here. So
See, I'm not even sure. Everyone always talks about like, well, I want to be with. I was talking to a guy friend. He's like, I want to be with a girl whose parents are still married because then she's just got a lot of issues or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, I have friends even now who are like their parents were divorced. You know, maybe they never even knew their dad or whatever it is, and then parents have been together forever. And the people whose parents have been together forever, they're having problems finding someone because they're like, I want it to be the love like my parents have. And then there's people who are like, oh, well, relationships don't work. So I don't think, I mean, of course your childhood has a major impact on who you are, but I don't know if it's, I think this casual sex thing is just, you know, taking over.
Well, I think it stands to reason that
Trumps
if
it all.
somebody is raised with, 2 loving parents and a long-standing relationship, and that's sort of the model that you have, and you look up to that and you aspire to that, I'd imagine that you'd be less inclined to sort of like have casual sex and meaningless kind of hookups, because that's something that you're deep down trying to attain in your own life.
But what if it's not even available now? Like, is it really even? Or do you guys do friends like in your 20s?
Do you really think that's true? Like, it's not even like just that ship has sailed?
I think it's available, but I think no. I do think that you can find someone, but if people are oriented more towards like it's going to be, it might be harder to find. Like, do you find like Jordan? Like, I mean, I know you don't want it, but how long do these relationships typically last before these women are like?
Longest maybe 2 months.
Yeah, that's
I try
about the
and
shelf
rotate
life.
it. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And like even in my friend bracket, like all my friends, there's only one that's actually in a long-term committed relationship. Everyone else is like shelf life average 6 to 9 months, but more it's more one night stands, 1 week. Like that's about it.
But do you ever want more? Like, does a part of you ever want that commitment and that intimacy? You haven't had it yet, so you don't know.
Yeah, no.
No,
I
not
see
yet.
it through like reality TV. It's great on TV, and I'm just like, oh.
On The Bachelor.
Jesus.
Oh, The Bachelor.
The Bachelor, yeah,
Hey,
there's a
like
fine
if
example.
Caitlyn popped in this room right now, I might change my mind straight up because I love that chick. But people out in the real world, not yet.
Caitlyn, yeah. And you know what? You'd be tired of banging her too after a while. What's that saying? Like,
What?
find a hot girl in the bar and I'll show you a hot.
Show me the hottest woman in the world, and I'll show you at least one guy who's tired of banging her.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which is really depressing. But the thing is, okay, one of my favorite quotes, and I'm sorry it's from Annie Hall because I know Woody Allen is not that popular right now, but it is my favorite quote. And he says, it was Alvy Singer. Did you guys all see Annie Hall by chance? Best movie of all times? Okay. A relationship, I think, is like a shark, you know? It has to constantly move forward or it dies. And I think what we got on our hands is a dead shark. And I think that's what happens a lot with these friends. Eventually, someone's gonna, you know.
It reminds me of another quote, which is "Love is like a fart. If you have to force it, it's probably shit."
Okay,
That's beautiful.
That's a good one. That was really eloquent. You bring it to the men to bring up bodily
Also, I think
functions.
also you shouldn't like settle into a relationship. I think a lot of people settle into a
Oh,
relationship.
lots of people.
And then, like 15 years later, they wake up and are like, "Oh my God, this has been terrible this entire time." And then they finally get the courage to break it off. You know.
I agree.
I like keep on going out there and hooking up with people, but if you finally find somebody that you think is really cool and awesome, then yeah, you should probably
Right, exactly.
stick with them.
It's the other end of the spectrum because I think what used to be happening or what can still happen now. And again, I grew up in Michigan. All my friends in Michigan are married, or actually, this is now they're getting divorced now because it's been like 15 years.
15 years.
Shelf life.
But what I'm saying is, people who get married in their 20s, typically, it's just we change so much, and we maybe things happen. You have kids, you get busy, and then you just I don't know. A lot of people get divorced after 10, 15 years.
That's true. I'm from a small town on the East Coast, and everyone I know got married real young, and they're all divorced now.
So right, exactly. So it's kind of hard to find like what do the balancer. That's why I say wait until you know yourself better, because the other thing is, like people in smaller towns, not in the big cities, they think, okay, well, I've got it. I've dated you. We've had sex. We've been dating for 3 months. This is it. And maybe they haven't even experienced that much sex. You know, they haven't been dating as many other people. And then they they're in their 40s and they're like, oh, I want to bang someone else. Like I've had sex with the same person forever.
Yeah, my parents have been together my whole life, but they were both divorced from other people. So, like, the one that worked was the second time around. Like, they both came from previous marriages, and now, like, they're my idea of a perfect relationship and marriage. But
that was their starter marriage.
It was the second time.
Usually
try.
that's why you get a little starter marriage. Throw it away. I should be married and I should be divorced by now at least. But I never wanted to get married. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, this is all going to turn to sex, people, because it is sex with Emily. Okay, guys. You know that I love my magic wand vibrator. Can anyone chime in here? Anyone ever had experience with a magic wand? It plugs into the wall. Yeah? No?
Yes.
Okay.
Love it.
It is the Cadillac of all vibrators. It's been around for 30 years.
Is this the one I found under my mom's bed when I was a little kid? The giant thing with the big ball on the end?
Exactly. Good job there, Justin, when you were, looking for stuff in your parents' room. That's it. Vibratex, the sex toy company that brought you the original magic wand and the Dahlia, and the Rabbit Habit. It is now, this is a very big announcement, it is now, you can get it unplugged, rechargeable magic wand. So it's the same power, it is improved. Did you use yours, Lori?
I did. I love it.
Because that's your next review.
Right, the magic wand. There's like one spot in my apartment that I like to masturbate in. I mean, it's on my bed.
And there's no plug nearby.
There's no plug nearby. No, exactly. There's 0 plugs. So if I were to use the old magic wand, I would not have been able to do it in my favorite spot.
Exactly.
But
there you have it.
I
I mean, it's kind of a big deal because the thing is, it's such a powerful vibrator that's why it's been around for 30 years and everyone loves it. But it's kind of like, what if we're going camping? Like, what do we do? But now you don't have to worry about it because there's no cord, there's no limits to where and how you can enjoy it. And the new magic wand has smoother silicone head, the little ball at the top, plus 4 intensity settings, 4 amazing vibration patterns. The other one was just, I mean, I'm not saying you can't still have the cordless one because it's friggin' awesome, but now it has different vibration patterns. It's just more modernized and cool.
Yeah, the silicone's body safe on the thing.
Exactly. So now you can choose between the simplicity of the original magic wand and the convenient portability of the rechargeable. Learn more, find out more, and what other wand lovers have to say, which I think this website's awesome. Go to magicwandrechargeable.com because it shows you all these people like for after 30 years and they're talking about like their experiences with it and now what they think about the rechargeable. It's really cool. Check it out. Are you ready to go unplugged? Check it out. magicwandrechargeable.com. Do that. And don't worry, guys. I've got something for you too. I've got to tell you about the Fleshlight.
Big fan.
Are you a big fan?
Yeah, I like the homemade version.
The homemade version, which is your hand?
No, it's like a cup and then some silicone and then some
Can we get this man a Fleshlight? Do you know? Oh my God.
I will gladly take one.
What? I have literally hundreds of them in my office. Okay, so Fleshlight is a male masturbation sleeve, and you might be thinking, I've got my hand. Why do I need it? But this masturbation sleeve feels amazing. From every single guy from the show who's listened and bought it, friends I've given it to, it simulates the feeling of actually having sex, and it's tight around your penis. What were you going to say, Menace? You want one now, finally?
No, I was talking about, aren't they based out of Nashville, right?
They're in Texas.
Oh, in Texas. Okay.
I'm actually going to go watch them. There's going to be some porn stars, and their vagina will be molded. They have to stand there, and I'm going to go witness that and do a video.
I was telling my coworkers that you invited me to take the tour, and they said that I should do it.
You should. It's in Austin, too. It's a good time. We're going to go. So the thing is that they have all these different patterns. If you like a particular porn star, you could buy one that way. You could also buy the Fleshlight Stamina Training Unit if you want to last longer in bed. They're all different ridges and feeling. Like, it's just like having sex. It feels like you're having sex with like a bunch of different people if you buy a bunch of different Fleshlights.
I saw one that looked like Yoda or something like that.
Is that the one that you want? When's your birthday?
Yeah,
October. I'll get you.
Feels good, it does. I want the Yoda one.
So it's funny because, the Fleshlight, you have amazing orgasms, and literally it's like, I know you use your hand, I know you might have sex, but it's just a great thing we have vibrators, so guys might as well try something different. You add some lube to it. It's sex in a can. Could be even better than sex. I know that it's really easy to clean, all that stuff. I am messaging one to Jordan right after the show. Check it out, though, you guys. Go to sexwithemily.com, click on the Fleshlight banner, use coupon code Emily, and you get a free bottle of their award-winning Flesh Lube. And I just have to say that last night at my Hustler Hollywood event, we were giving some away, and everyone in the audience was like freaking out. They wanted them. They heard about it on the show, and we gave a bunch away, and it was a very happy crowd.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, peoples. Back to our panel. We got to get into sex, okay? So I want to know about First of all, do you guys practice safe sex in these casual relationships? Be honest.
Always.
Jordan, I don't believe you. Really?
Always.
You carry condoms with you all the time?
All the time.
Hell no. Let me see your pockets right now.
And it's in my backpack.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Bring that backpack with me everywhere.
Okay.
Really? Okay, but one thing, just a little note, a public service announcements, that you shouldn't actually carry condoms in your wallet because they can disintegrate and they get all sticky. Like if you open it and there's like sticky, messy, like don't use it.
So what is the best place to carry them?
The best place is just to, I guess.
Just wear it out.
Just
wear it out.
just wear it.
That's easy.
Before you go out.
Yeah.
The truth is, the glove compartment's a really bad place.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully women are comfortable with that. Wherever you're at, they should just be condoms everywhere. Like how you have toilet paper, you should have condoms. What about you, ladies?
I agree. They're either in my purse right now.
You never know what's going to happen on the way home from the studio.
You guys have
Right.
a purse, so the guys need to carry around like.
They're in all
But I
my
think there's a
purses.
stigma. What do you think, Lori? Like,
I usually carry them, but I will be honest, there have been a couple occasions that it didn't get used. Like,
just a couple.
I mean, I feel like the latex bothers me. And when I'm hella drunk, I will take that and run with it. The
Okay.
fact that the latex
Well,
bothers
it's
me.
interesting that you said that because there are non-latex condoms, which you should grab skin.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are like my new favorite condoms, SKYN. You should know this for all the people you guys are banging or potentially banging. That a lot of women do have allergies to latex skin. It's polyisoprene and it's a different material than latex, and they actually feel really, really good. They're soft and they're thin, but they're super durable. You should get all over that.
Just use saran wrap, you'll be good.
Yeah. Don't listen to any tip like that for a minute. So, okay, a question for the ladies here. Studies have shown, and I know this typically, that women want to feel safe and they want to feel comfortable. And when they're with somebody, they always say that the sex you have with someone that's more casual is not as good as when you're in a committed relationship. And even typically for women to orgasm, they need to be, they always say, like, someone has to know my body, I have to know him for a while, and the sex isn't as great. What would you say about that?
I'd say that's true. I'd say that's true now, at the age I am now. I mean, when I was younger, I think the exciting thing about casual sex is the thrill of the chase. You're out and you see someone and you spend the evening pursuing them and flirting and you don't know, and the back and forth and all that shit. And then by the time you actually do the deed, sometimes you're like, that was it?
Right,
Like, really?
exactly.
All that
No,
for that?
It's the adrenaline. It's the dopamine. It's that excitement. And then you get it, you're like,
Right. And, sometimes, just face it, first-time sex can be awkward because you don't know each other's bodies and what you're into and whatnot. So where I am now, yeah, absolutely. When you're with someone and you know them and you trust them and they know how to turn you on and get you off and all these things, they know what works for you. That kind of chemistry, that's definitely better.
Okay.
I think it's better.
Yeah, I usually will have sex on the first date, and it's almost always awful. Like, it's just, it doesn't ever work out. The best sex I've ever had is like 2 years into a 4-year relationship.
right, because you're more comfortable. You're talking about it, what
Right.
you want.
You know each other
Okay,
and
so
things
Jordan
like that.
and Justin, so when you're with someone new the first time, like you guys probably think it's always awesome the first time, no? I mean, like,
No.
I forgot, no?
I say 90%
You're like,
of the
I
time
came.
it's kind of bad.
Really, the first time?
Yeah, unless you either.
Why is it bad? What makes
They're
it bad?
just not, the ones I've been with are not as comfortable as where, like, my friends with benefits, I am very open to a lot of things, and I like being as active as possible, like, very crazy, let's watch an porn, okay, let's copy that. But, like, if you do, you can't really pull that out on the first night because most girls aren't as comfortable because, like,
Justin
you just
does.
met each other.
Before I went to...
Hey, Justin, let's go somewhere after this.
I'm not kidding. The first time I went to it, he was like having a party. It was like just big, huge porn screen. I'm like, hey, and my friends were like, anyway. I was just talking to my friends. She was Justin, the guy with the porn. It's just that's what you're known for. And the sex, you're like a legend.
The porn
But
guy.
here's my question for you though. So
Wonderful.
what you're saying to me then is the first you have these one night stands, and then. So the sex isn't as great. So you have to wait for the 2-month mark till it gets more comfortable, but then it's over. So you got to keep starting over again.
Yeah, I mean,
That's okay though.
it is
It's
what
chill,
it
right?
is.
You'll
Yeah,
take it.
I'll take it.
So what are the crazy moves and things that you want to try after like you've known him for a while? Crazy.
I'm a
or
big
different?
fan of like a pull-up bar. And
A pull-up bar? Oh.
Yeah, like over the door and just getting some crazier like
your pull-up
acrobatic-
bar that you're doing. Like,
Yeah, and like so a synchronized swimmer or a gymnast who is very flexible. That's very interesting.
Wait, but-
whereas most girls are fine with just laying on their backs or just being riding.
But
on
like you
top.
pull. I'm just trying to understand.
No, I hold them.
On the pull-up bar. Can we back up to the?
Yeah, let's go.
Who's on the bar in this?
The girl is most often on the bar,
Okay.
and it's more.
She's like this, hanging on the bar.
Yeah, or we'll I'll hold them up as anything's happening, or I'll lower the bar down.
Can you
so
go down it? Like so, maybe that's a good way. Do
Yeah.
you perform oral sex on these women? Oh my God.
Most of the
my
time.
God.
No. Most of the time. I'm like, you give, I give. I'm all for that.
But she has to give first?
Not necessarily.
But usually.
50, we'll go 60-40.
Okay. 60-40. Because my friend, he says Tinder's like a blowjob dispensary. He's like, every girl just gives a blowjob on the first date. Lori's nodding. Is that what you do?
Yeah. I mean, I will. I mean, absolutely. The thing is, like, most of my relationships have started as casual sex, and then they turn into like a super serious relationship. So,
Because you must give a killer blowjob.
I really do. Yeah, and I learned more.
We saw last night. Oh my God! I gave a blowjob workshop, and she was my model on the dildo, and it was pretty impressive. I just have to say, she stole the show. Tara, how about you with sex and being, I don't know, oral? Like, do you feel like I'm going to ask you about oral sex?
Okay.
Do you find that men you've been with, they need more direction? Or first of all, do they perform oral sex on you right away, or do you feel like they're waiting for you to give a blowjob first?
I find most men love performing oral sex. Only a couple times in my life have I come across men that are like, it's not my thing, which, deal breaker. Sorry.
Right, no, I agree. I totally agree.
It's not something I require every day, but I like it, and I like performing it, but I'm definitely not that girl who does it on the first date or even right away. I don't know. That makes me. It is intimate. I want to do it when I like someone.
Right.
I gotta like a guy, but then I'm into it.
If you like him, then you like your penis. What were you gonna say, Justin? Were you gonna say something about?
Oh no, I just feel the need to sort of back up a little bit here, and talk about like for me, what a casual encounter is all the long-term relationships that I've ever had have started as casual encounters, but for me, a casual encounter still has to be an encounter with someone with whom you have a connection and you feel a strong attraction.
Right.
And that's not just physically, oh, you're hot, but wow, I really dig your mind, and we're like clearly vibing on each other. And typically when that happens, and it's undeniable, then you're just going to rip each other's clothes off right away anyway. So it kind of happens quickly.
Right.
So this idea of sort of casual relationships, I guess by the definition of, I don't really know that person very well, but I'm going to hook up with them and have sex with them. That's not something that I do.
Okay, so you really have to have that. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I haven't had a ton of, just random casual. I know, believe it or not. I mean, I've had maybe a few one nights. Not many. Like, because I typically, for me, I have to have like that connection. Like, I agree,
right.
Intellectual and physical, and then it can move into something else. But I can't just do and I guess if you're really drunk, maybe. But I don't get that drunk. I think if I was a bigger drinker, I'd have more of those stories.
Totally.
I've never had a one night stand.
Right.
Ever.
I'm surprised.
They're overrated.
You got to work on that.
They're overrated.
Jordan, what about you?
Yeah.
Do you care? Is it more like hot chick at the bar? Like you don't really care? You'd rather not talk? It's okay.
And I go 18 to 60. That's like if you fall in that range, we're good to go.
Age 18 to 60?
Yeah, I'm not as picky. Like it's more of like, oh, if I've made eye contact, I can tell like, oh, you're looking like you're interested. It's like, okay, I'll go over, say some cheeky banter, blah blah blah, moving forward, and then go from there.
So for you, it sounds like it's kind of about the conquest.
Sounds like a lot of work.
That's what I
It is work. I mean, hey,
So
I'm
much work.
I'm exhausted just listening to it.
I mean, whether it's doing that at the bar or swiping right on the apps, like you're doing work. It's just how much you want to put in, and then what's the result.
Okay, but have you ever had one of these where you're like, oh God, clearly not. I liked her, but not. I think that your emotion thing is like.
Emotion's very low.
Have you had therapy?
Oh, too many years.
Really? Okay. I just feel like there needs to be like a break. But you'll have, you're 20. Here's the thing, though.
Oh,
I don't charge you at all. You're 25.
Yeah.
Like, I almost feel like I wish that I made up for it in the years, but I'm saying in my 20s, it was like relationship, and I'm not saying there's a better or worse way to do it, but right now you're just having fun. And so how about blowjobs? Let's get into blowjobs. So,
How about blowjobs?
Hey.
How about those blowjobs? Okay. Sorry.
Did you want to go back to the emotional connection? No, I like that Justin tried to make it deeper. Justin, you've really grown into a man. Because you actually, I remember when I met you when I started doing my show, and you did actually, which I'll never forget, gave me your 3 tips for a great blowjob.
That's right.
And
Do you still remember them?
I do.
Yeah.
It was technique,
Sure.
enthusiasm,
Yeah.
and how she looks while she's doing it.
Correct.
I don't know. That was like a show in 2006 I was doing. but do you still, and how often do you come across good blowjobs these days?
Well, On a per encounter basis, like percentage, I would say maybe 70% good.
Okay.
You know?
Bad.
Yeah.
All right. And Jordan, what about you?
I'm up there like 60, 70.
Is it like pizza though? Like there's no such thing as bad pizza, like a blowjob?
Oh no! Bad blowjob.
There is bad pizza.
Okay, what is a bad?
Definitely.
There are bad blowjobs.
What's a bad blowjob?
Well, take away any.
What makes a blowjob not as enjoyable?
So number one, the most important thing is enthusiasm and passion on her part. She's pardon my French, but worship the cock.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where she's like loves it, is totally into it. If she's shy and tepid and a little scared and unsure, it kind of makes you feel uncomfortable because it's like, well, you know, you've got my cock in your mouth, but
right.
you're unsure about it. There's something just instantly unsexy about that.
That's true. I always say
confidence.
I always say that enthusiasm. We talked about this last night in my workshop. That I've always said it, and I knew I agreed with you with your things. Some of them, I don't know if that order, but I think enthusiasm is number one. That even for oral sex, we don't want anyone between our legs who's like kind of their eyes are rolling back in their head and they're checking their phone. Like you want to know that they're into it, that they want to be there. Especially when like a guy's going down on you too. Or like the 2 seconds he goes down and you're like, wasn't that enough? I'm sticking my penis. I'm like, are you kidding? Like.
No, one of those guys that I ran into years ago was somebody who really wanted to date me, and he wasn't into oral sex, but he's like, I'll try it for you, because that's how much he liked me. But
right.
yeah, exactly.
You're
2
like,
seconds, and I'm like, oh, just go, just get out.
Yeah,
of
he's
there.
like, I'm just gonna like lick you. I'm gonna make it wet enough so I can stick my penis inside you. Like that's not oral sex.
It's obvious you're not into this, and no.
So what makes good oral sex? For you,
my number one thing when receiving oral sex is that it's so important not to just go right for the clit. Like the build up, if I could tell every guy that's ever gone down on me and ever will, like please maintain some sort of suspense and build up. And then it'll come like that. But if you like
I'm gonna second that.
Yeah, if you start fast, then you have nowhere to go and you just won't ever come.
right? Guys, we talked about this for 2 hours last night during the workshop. You can't go right for the clit like that. I get that you learned what the clit is, and I'm so happy that you
found it.
That you got to hold back on. You got to hold back. You got to do some massaging on the vulva. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say with when
labia.
it comes to the blowjobs, also just apply pressure, man.
Pressure.
Nothing is worse when you have no pressure on it at all.
Yeah, it's true.
It's
That
just
was
basically just floating around in your mouth.
very, very true. No, I'm serious, you guys. That was one of my top 5 tips last night for blowjobs. That if you're just too soft, like you have to think about you're mimicking a vagina, you're mimicking their hand, so you have to have that much pressure.
I want my
Do you guys
penis
agree?
like in a vacuum, not a cloud. You know.
Right. That's a good one, man.
Well, I think
let's quote you on that.
fundamentally, male and female anatomy and what feels good are kind of on other ends of the spectrum. Where a penis is pretty much resilient and pretty like bulletproof. Like you can squeeze it, whack it. They're tough. They're tough,
Right.
and they kind of require a lot of pressure and effort. Whereas a woman's vagina is anything but.
Right, exactly. Just softer, lighter touches. Jordan's like, vagina what?
That's why vagina is considered flower, penis is wood.
Exactly.
We're very different items.
We are very, very different. So, okay, so I have a question for you guys. Do you think that men and women have different expectations for casual and sex partners? Like, do you feel like that it's the same? Like, what are your expectations from someone, really? Is it just like return my call at 11 o'clock at night because we're going to hook up? Or do you feel like it gets more complicated with the casual sex part?
We make it complicated. I don't even know if it's necessarily even a man-woman thing. It's like an individual thing. Every single person has different expectations and different wants and needs and requirements and whatever, and issues and, mental blocks, whatever they have when it comes to sex. And you don't know what you're getting into. You just hope that it's going to sort of mesh with yours so that it can last as long as it can, and usually it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think that women are... I don't know, like you've all these casual relationships, but do they start getting, are the women like, come on, I want you to be my parent? Like, does that ever happen? Or like, where were you Friday night? Like the second what happens?
Not really. That's why I try and preface it as much as possible. Like I will continue to say, even after like we've had sex, I'm like, look, like this was very fun. We may do it once more twice, but like this is going nowhere. I try and be as straightforward as possible because I've seen the other girls that like I'm friends with being led on by these assholes like, oh, we might have a relationship or whatnot, but in the end it's the same stuff. They just want to have sex with you as long as possible and then cut out when they realize like, oh wow, like I have to meet the family now, I'm done. So like I try and be as honest and straightforward as possible, and I feel that me doing that, they could be lying straight to my face. I don't know, but with that, it works better for at least me.
Can I ask you a question? Any of these women that you hook up with, that you have sex with, do you like them as people?
Sometimes.
You really don't. You don't want to hang out with them the next day. You're like, don't let the door hit you in the ass.
No, I'd try and I leave. I'm not more of like,
Oh,
I try and bring it to their turf. They're more comfortable, and it's like, if worst case scenario, if I do stay over that night, yes, I will get a food with you. I'm not gonna be a complete dick about it.
Is there like friendly pillow talk afterward? Where are you like? I mean,
yeah. You want to watch some Friends? Like, I got some time.
It's just available.
Do you like
on Netflix.
women?
Yes, I do.
You do. You like? No, I think that's a good point though. Like, but you're not finding like you're not talking to them about like feelings or things you like or emotions.
Like, I know my emotions and feelings scale is very low for right now, and like there is that side eventually that can come out, but right now, like you said, it's my 20s. Like, I don't even want to consider having a relationship. Like, there's too many beers out there in the world. I want to try a lot of them before I even consider like, oh wow, that's my favorite beer. Like, let's look at for that and see what she brought to the table and try and find that again.
Did you find a nice hoppy one that you just let go?
I mean, yeah, I think eventually you're gonna. Oh, but there's gonna be something will happen. But you're very honest about this.
I
so.
appreciate that because I meet people online sometimes, like half and half, like you, and oftentimes they'll say like looking for a relationship, and I meet them and they talk to me as if they're looking for a relationship. They give me unsolicited compliments and love, and then act like how you're talking, you know? Yeah. And
also,
so if someone were to say like, this is never going anywhere, it's only sex, I'd be like, yes, thank you so much for letting me know.
But don't you also run into a lot of women that absolutely don't believe you when you're saying all this stuff?
Yes. Yeah, it's tough to convince them. And like, yeah. I'm like, look, I'm not lying to you. Like, please understand, because I've been down this road too many times.
Here's testimonials from girls.
Let me just call my friend real quick. Yeah, it would be easy, but there is definitely resistance.
Do you have like burner phones that you have to throw away? Disposable.
I mean,
phones.
What?
Just keep getting a new Google number, right?
Yeah.
You know?
God, you guys, so funny. So is it? And so is it? Tinder, you've used Tinder too. So do you find that people are saying, yes, I want it, and they don't? Laura, you're having that experience with that as well?
Absolutely. Over and over. I feel like maybe that's these guys' ways of like hooking a girl is to pretend like they're looking for a relationship when they're not.
That's
are
bullshit.
you, do you think that you might be projecting that too much right away, and then they're like afraid of that? That
I feel like I go in pretty cautious because I know that I catch feelings. So I go in pretty...
Yeah, but do you think you project that like, oh, I'm really looking for, a solid relationship, like too early on when getting to know somebody? Maybe you don't pick up on that, and then they get scared and run away.
Well, they don't run away.
It's like too much too fast.
They don't run away.
Well,
they just want to do everything but
the commandment. Run away.
So I should not.
I'm trying to say,
so
like...
I should be dishonest about it?
No, I'm not saying don't be dishonest.
Do you think she gets, like, needy and clingy? Is that what you're saying?
Is that it?
I don't want to say it.
Right, but I just said it.
Yeah. But, it might just, like, whoa, this might be moving too fast for me. And then the guys...
But I feel they fully participate in the quick movement, though.
Yeah, I mean, any guy would.
See, and the other thing is that we have to talk about the attachment thing. So the reason why I started out saying inherently, it is sort of like Justin was saying earlier, like it is kind of like I think how men have always wanted it. Maybe they've reluctantly gotten into relationships, but for women, it's biological. We have the oxytocin. We get attached after we have sex and an orgasm with someone. We get attached. Many women do. And so it's interesting because men also have the oxytocin that spikes. It spikes, but then it drops. That's why you fall asleep right after. But women are like, oh my God. That's why I always say it's best. I mean, I don't have rules, wait 3 months. But if you actually like someone, like you like one of these guys, let's say, I would say not withhold, but wait to have sex. Wait to see if you actually really like them. Because what happens is when a lot of women have sex too soon, then they can't see the red flags waving in the distance, I would say, because they're just attached to the sex part. So the longer you wait to have sex with someone, you actually get to learn more about the person, their character. Do they have, are they a good person?
I want to have sex, though.
I know, but but honey, I've given you so many vibrators at this point.
I know. Just let Emily Oberklausen show you her arsenal of things that will hold you over for a while.
She knows. She's it's like my office. So I'm curious too. So here's another thing, little study here that I just wanted to, it was kind of going back to that. It says, this is what it says, is that, I'm going to find this. It was just more about how women just have a harder time, like I was saying, with attachment. And, okay, forget it, doesn't matter. Okay, wait, in 1989, okay, the stigma has gotten better, but it still exists. The stigma with, like, having sex too soon or whatever, if men are judging women, especially for women. So a 1989 study asked male and female participants if they would engage in sex with a stranger, if propositioned. 70% of men said yes, compared with 0% of women. This is in 1989. 2012, a new research discovered that women said no for 2 reasons. So they're still saying no. Number one, they don't want to be labeled as a slut. So there's still like this labeling thing. And they don't think the sex would be very good. Like we talked about it. Because really, is the sex that great on the first, like we were saying? Like the guys are good. You guys are like, it's not so bad the first. It gets better, but.
No, like I said before, I think one-night stands are overrated. They are. You don't really know what you're getting into.
It's more about like the chase and the excitement and all that. So another report was casual sex has been seen as a male activity for some time. A recent poll from Self magazine says that women do enjoy the anonymous hookup. It analyzed the response of 2,000 unattached women between the ages of 18 and 63. Jordan, that might have been someone that you just hooked up with, and found that 82% of them have engaged in casual sex. So I just think there's like a shelf life, and it can't go on forever. But maybe we need to alter our behaviors if we are looking for something serious. So I'm gonna have you guys help me answer an email real quick. Anything else you want to say?
No. I'm waiting for the emails. You know I love those.
I know, you guys. I'm gonna we're gonna do a little roundtable answer of an email here. You guys are awesome. Is there anything else you guys wanted to say about? Anything else you guys want to say about casual sex or the relationships or anything you want to add? I think that's awesome. Very helpful.
Wait, I wanted to know from Jordan, do you think that if a woman has a high number of sexual partners in her history that makes her like slutty? Does that turn you off to her?
No, I'm absolutely not one to judge. If anything, like if you have a higher number, it's easier for me to identify with you because I know you've been through this almost as many times as I have.
Yeah, I don't think guys... I mean, there's a few guys. I don't think a large majority of guys that actually care. Don't you think it's just... I hate to say it because I'm going to get an email. But do you think a lot of it is just women judging other women thinking that they're sluts?
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big part
I think
of
it's men too, though. No, I think this is actually a really good point.
But I'm not saying that guys don't say that, but I feel like a large majority of guys do not care. And it's just other women judging each other, saying that they're sluts.
I think there's a double.
Crap about them.
Yeah.
I think the double standard still exists.
Because here's the thing: there's the guys who are like, first of all, let me just say this: don't ever talk about your number with your partner. If they ask, I don't care. Like it's like a don't ask, don't tell.
Don't even know your number.
Don't even forget your number. I don't know, right? Don't know your number. That's actually a good point. But this conversation never ends well because. First of all, why do we need to know that? And either the person might judge you and think, God, she's a slut, or he's a, whatever, been with so many people, or God, they don't have enough experience, and they, either way, it doesn't end well. But I also do think I know some guys who are like, if I know her number and she's been with too many people, then I don't want to be with her, because I want someone. It's kind of the Madonna whore thing. Like I want to bang her, but she's not the woman I want to sleep with. And then there's some guys who are like, I like that you've experienced. Like I appreciate that. And so I just think don't forget to talk about it. It's my thing. Well, because it's not important.
Or do talk about it, and if you're a woman who has a higher number and you're perfectly comfortable with your sexuality and your behaviors and it's healthy in your own mind, and a guy is turned off by that number, well, guess what? That's not the guy for you.
Exactly. But I just also think it's good to talk about what you like. All this, I always say people don't talk about sex enough. The thing is talk about what you like, what you don't like, but to sit and go I had sex with 26 people. It's just not it doesn't get you anywhere. It's just so people can find information that is usually not helpful. Okay, an email. Ready. Hey, Emily. I would love to hear your views about the hypocrisy in Hollywood regarding sex and specifically casual sex. I read the headlines around the current Bachelorette being vilified for having casual sex on a reality show. While I do despise reality TV and have never watched the show, talk about a double standard. Sex and one-night stands are so sensationalized in fake movies and TV shows.
Exactly what I was saying. Who are making these comments? So I guarantee you, if I go on Twitter, who is calling her a slut? I can probably break down the numbers for you. And I guarantee you, a large majority of the people talking ish on on The Bachelor
Are women.
Bachelor are women.
Right. Well, that's the majority of people watching, I think, that show. I don't think you have a lot of
there's
heterosexual
tons of
guys
guys
watching
wow.
The Bachelor.
Tons of guys.
Really?
Guys are
Yeah,
obsessed
of
with
course.
that. Yeah,
Really?
I know.
You can't
yeah.
avoid it. It's also on the news too, so guys are gonna comment on it also.
Oh, you can avoid it.
You do have a point, though. You do have a point.
Yeah.
I will give you that as far as women, but I think it just comes back to that competition factor between women. You
Yes,
know,
of
it comes
course.
down to that. And
I'm glad that you admit it, because like I try to bring this up all the time. I go, why must there always be, I'm not saying all women, but negative comments about a woman crossing the street? Like,
Because it's self-esteem. Women bash other women because it makes them feel better about
I
themselves,
know.
and I think it's horrible. I mean, I really try. I mean, I
Yeah.
never do. I don't talk about people.
But no woman.
most women do.
No woman ever looked at a
men do
mannequin
it.
in lingerie and said, "What a slut."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's got
Slut-shaming
it's
is-
got to be a real person that poses a threat
Yeah.
to them, and that's a
maybe too,
Technique.
it's they're jealous.
Right.
Maybe I don't know
It's
the
jealousy.
situation other than what I've read, but maybe
Yeah,
they're
definitely.
like, "Damn, I wish I could just have a one-nighter with a
it's a
hot guy and not
perceived
be
threat.
judged."
Yeah.
It's
Right.
exactly. So
Right.
it's self-esteem, it's jealousy, it's competition, and they're actually seeing it on TV. So they're
So
like.
what was the question
Well, I
specifically?
didn't finish. Thank you.
Okay.
I didn't finish the question. So, talk about double standards. Sex and one-night stands are so sensationalized in fake movies and TV shows every day. But when a real person has casual sex, it's right back to she's a slut. The same people that made Kim Kardashian a household name after a sex tape are slamming this person. Thoughts? Adam from Chicago.
Well, I don't necessarily think that's true. I mean, I think that's kind of the thesis of this whole show is that it's not like it used to be, where if somebody, it was discovered that they were having casual sex, that a woman is a slut. I think that is changing. So I don't necessarily agree with that.
But apparently, everyone's been
Perspective.
vilifying this Bachelorette. Is that true? Right?
Yeah, I mean, all the entertainment news.
The one that you wanna bang.
Stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, they pretty much just.
Caitlyn, right?
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much just read, what the internet feedback is on social media. And
Well,
stuff like that.
let's be honest. We're not talking about real people, real life. This is a television show, and the whole artifice of this show is so maddening to me, because you're going to give people 15 minutes over the course of an entire series to spend time together, and they're supposed to decide if they're supposed to effing get married.
Yeah, but
Give
not
me a
even
break.
I know,
not even
I-
on that
It's
part, but
absurd. So
just if you break down the
drawing any-
situation that they're commenting about, that happens on a day-to-day basis, not even in front of a camera.
That's true.
So,
But with reality TV, there's just so much more fodder for it now that you're like, what you
yeah,
feel like.
so
they're a
there's
real
so many
person.
people that can
They're a
jump
real
in and
person.
comment on it.
I think it's just human nature that people either need to jump on bandwagons because they need to feel a part of something and part of a
Definitely.
community,
Or judge
they
it and
need
kick
to
it down.
take sides because they need to feel like they're on a team. It really just boils down to people wanting to belong, so they want to like chime in because then they're saying the same thing as this guy, and that means they fit in with that crowd.
Yep.
And it's my
Yeah, I was
theory.
talking to my mom about this actually last week when it came out, and she had an interesting view in the sense that she views The Bachelorette as a fantasy romance. So in a romance, typically, you don't have that one-night stand leading up to it. It's more like, oh, it's a build-up, and then that special night and the fantasy suite. That's why like they usually wait till it. And the fact that you shouldn't have to deny the attraction you feel. I don't care if it's a first date, 50th date. If you feel it and you want it, go for it. And it's just because they're so used to it for 20 seasons or whatever, that's been just this romantic, whole build-up.
It's like modern day like Cinderella.
Yeah.
It's like all these men like
And
courting you and
I
stuff.
just think the backlash is completely unnecessary, and I'm pro Caitlyn hooking up with whoever she wants, including myself.
So you guys, so we definitely do see
Contact the
this-
show.
Exactly.
Feedback@sexwithemily.com.
Right. So I guess we definitely see. I mean, I guess, and I would love to hear from my listeners, women and men, what you think about this too, because I just wonder if, who's having a hard time with it? Because this is clearly a trend. This is clearly what's happening in their 20s. You say more so than not, because we've kind of have a split room here that that's what people are doing. Like they're going into it thinking it's casual beyond a relationship. And, a lot of studies are common, wisdom or knowledge is that women can't handle it, and they're actually going along with what men want. And so they've kind of socialized to think well, none of my friends are wanting relationships now, and I'm just wondering if it's,
I
it's
think
going to shift, or there'll be a backlash. Everyone's going to have herpes. So,
I think it's really healthy because you've got now. It used to be the only option was okay, if you're going to sleep with somebody, it better be pretty serious, and if you're sleeping with them, well then you get in a relationship, and there's a path that's that's going to take
yeah.
into a relationship and marriage and whatever. And I think it's really refreshing that this is at least a viable option that gives people, like you say, that waiting period, which is so important to really get to know somebody, because you don't know somebody for like a year, even if you live with them.
A year and a half, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah.
So at least it's an option, because if you have a series of casual encounters, well, you never know which one's going to stick. And one of them might surprise you, and my God, I actually really like this person, and they're really growing on me, you know. And the more I learn about them, the more I like, and the more I'm attracted to them. And I think that's the healthiest approach to finding a real solid relationship.
Yeah. So maybe it is a good trend. People should be using more protection, but also. Yeah, I think it's because the other alternative was like our friends, like we were saying, Tara, in our small towns, who got married to the first guy they slept with, the second or third. Most of my friends who got married at 25 had like 4 partners, which to me is like, you know, they got married.
Unfathomable, right?
I had like 4 last week. No, I'm kidding. I've not been having a lot of sex lately. I'm just gonna say that. But no, but you know what I'm saying? It's like that's really it. But that's a different thing. So yeah, Rob, you're good. You're loving Rob.
Well, he's living the life of a
Jordan.
20.
I don't even know why I didn't
he's
sleep.
Living
the
life of a 20-year-old, though.
You're kind of rocking it, Jordan, right? Like you're.
I try and hold it down.
But you know, when you get to be old folks like us.
Yeah,
you're gonna realize it's too much work, and you're gonna find somebody cool.
It's true.
Calm down.
I admire what you're doing because you are honest, but exactly someday it does sound like a lot of work.
Well, you guys are.
I'm sorry. I keep asking questions of Jordan.
No,
I find it fascinating. So where's your quality scale? So your age scale is 18 to 60. What is the quality scale like on 1 to 10? Do we discriminate?
Yeah.
I mean, are we it's
they
like
have a full set of teeth.
It's like George Carlin once said, "I never banged a 10, but one night I fucked 5 2s."
Yeah.
I just go with the motto: everyone likes to be taken care of, and I don't really, you might have a.
So you find you're not super
He's
discriminating.
An equal opportunity.
That's the best way. Equal opportunity employer.
Very generous with his penis.
Okay, you don't have like a type or anything, one thing that attracts you.
No.
All right.
Wow.
So literally, like you bang almost anyone in here.
I'd say yes to.
Maybe all of them. We're gonna wrap the show, so you can do whatever you want. Justin, is there? What about you? Is there anything you want to plug? Your website?
No, not at this. Not at this moment.
Not at this moment. Anyone else? Anyone? Okay. Well, okay. Justin, Jordan, Tara, Lori, Menace, you rock.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to say?
No. Well,
find you on.
Find me on Twitter and Instagram. Just Menace, MENACE. And so I don't fill my timeline with dog photos. My dog has his own Instagram. My dog Churro. Follow.
My dog Churro. Okay, I'm going to follow it, and I'm going to post all of that. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Madison, for amazing show, for producing. And also follow us, you guys, because, we give some good social media stuff, too. So check me out on Instagram and Twitter. It's @SexWithEmily. And Facebook.com/SexWithEmily. Anything else that we got to talk about, Madison? All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Was it good for you? Email me, feedback@sexwithemily.com. One more time. Okay, you guys. Here's the dealio. If you want to have better sex and you want to spice things up in the bedroom, then you need one of Emily and Tony's massage candles. I've been talking about them for probably about like a year and a half now, but it's interesting because everyone who buys them freaks out about them because there's really nothing like this. So candles, great. We all like candles, or we should, I think. I hate those bright lights when you're having sex with someone. It sets a great atmosphere in the bedroom, but these candles are super special because you light them, they smell amazing, aromatherapy, and then they turn into the most luxurious massage oil that is not wax, okay, people? I'm not asking you to get into some hardcore play here that you don't want to. It's actually warm oil that you pour in your partner's body, and you give them a luxurious massage. And one of my listeners emailed me that my girlfriend was skeptical at first, but agreed to try the warm oil on me first, gave me a back rub, then I reciprocated, and we had amazing sex. She could not stop talking about how good the candle smells and how great the massage oil feels. And I'm convinced that the scent and the candle helped us through some of the barriers to sex that we have faced lately. So let's face it, you guys, massage is a great gateway to intimacy. So check out the candles. Go to emilyandtony.com anytime. Use code SEXWITHEMILY for 20% off. That's emilyandtony.com. Use code SEXWITHEMILY. Thanks for listening.
When people start having public conversations with the psychotic voices in their own heads, well, you either get them a straitjacket or a podcast. For Phil Hendry, we chose podcast. Hi, this is Phil Hendry. Which seems to be the right decision, because since the world of Phil Hendry debuted at Podcast One, his audience has doubled. Or was that the number of weird characters in his head? Well, I hope you're not referring to me. You better not be referring to me. Download a new episode of The World of Phil Hendry every friggin' day. I thought it'd be interesting. Right here at podcastone.com. That's podcastone.com.